Discover the incredible transformations of 12 Greek myth monsters. Heartwarming tales exposed. In the small town of Willow Creek, where the sweet smell of pine floated through the air, a whirlwind of emotions brewed in the heart of 22-year-old Lily. With her father gone, the diner's laughter turned to distant echoes, replaced by the urgency of bills piling up. Yet, inside her, a flame flickered brightly, a hope for her family, a hope for tomorrow. The towering mountains, majestic and silent, became witnesses to her grief and dreams. One fateful afternoon, while seeking solace in the woods, she found herself drawn toward a hidden cave. The cool air whispered secrets, and when she stepped inside, her jaw dropped. 12 incredible creatures huddled in a circle, revealed in soft, shimmering light. Gaius, the gentle Cyclops, his single eye filled with sadness, approached. We V hidden away from judgment, but we D give anything to show the world our hearts. Each creature had a story, filled with pain yet woven with resilience. Milo, the misunderstood Minotaur, stepped forward. Some call me a beast, but I just want someone to see me. As Lily listened, tears welled in her eyes, their struggles mirrored her own loneliness and yearning for acceptance. Here were beings banished for being different, yet they carried burdens heavier than her own. Their pain wrapped around her like a warm blanket, for in every creature, she recognized her family. A mother holding on, a brother who needed stability, and love, always love. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Determined to unite their worlds, Lily crafted a plan for Summerfest, the town's biggest celebration. They are not monsters, she told her mother, her voice quaking with passion. They are just like us. But as whispers of fear spread through Willow Creek, she felt the tightening grip of frustration. Seated in the town hall, facing old friends morphing into adversaries, Lily's heart pounded. She saw neighbors tense up, eyes darting, ready to strike her words down. Old grudges surfaced like haunting ghosts. Lily's spirit crumbled as she fought to connect with them, to rebuild her family and their acceptance. Cries erupted around the room, pitching neighbor against neighbor. Arguments fought with words as stinging as arrows. The air grew thick with uncertainty, and in that moment, Lily nearly lost hope. But the monsters were watching, yearning to help. Could their hidden powers light the path to acceptance? What would happen when the truth came out? As the chaos spilled into the streets, Lily found her courage rising. Would the heartwarming stories of her new friends change the townsfolk's stubborn minds? The answer lingered in the air, thick with anticipation, as the missing pieces of her beloved town hung dangerously in the balance. Would she manage to stitch together the fabric of acceptance before everything she cherished slipped away? Lily stood at the center of the storm, the sounds of discontent swirling around her like falling leaves in a gusty wind. The townspeople's voices merged into one cacophony, each shout igniting her fear. But deep down, a spark flickered, a bond with the creatures waiting in the cave wrapped around her heart. They believed in her, and now she had to believe in herself. The next day, Lily returned to the cave, her heart pounding with determination. We need to come together, she said to Gaius and the others. We need to show Willow Creek who you really are. The creatures nodded, their eyes shining with hope as they formed a circle around her. She could see the muscles in their jaws tense, as if they too felt the weight of the upcoming challenge. What do we do? Milo asked, his voice a deep rumble fraught with uncertainty. Let us collect your stories, Lily replied, but we'll present them through the festival. We'll create booths, performances, real moments that let people see your hearts. Her voice trembled, full of excitement and dread. They spent days preparing, drawing inspiration from the tales they had locked away for too long. Gaius formed a mural of color on the cave wall, each stroke telling his story of loneliness and longing for friendship. Milo designed a maze of mirrors and lights, representing his labyrinthine journey towards self-acceptance. With every creation, they wove their suffering into something beautiful, something that could bridge the gap between them and the townsfolk. With Summerfest just days away, anxiety gripped her as she stood in front of the town hall once more, this time with a newfound resolve. She could hear murmurs of doubt from her neighbors, mixed with an interest ignited by curiosity. She knew she needed to craft an invitation from her heart to theirs. "Please, join us at the festival," Lily called out, her voice breaking through the tension. "Let us celebrate our differences, our stories. These creatures are not wild beasts, but friends who need acceptance just as much as we do." Some in the crowd nodded cautiously, while others crossed their arms, doubt clinging to their expressions. Just then, a familiar face broke through the crowd. Alice, Lily's childhood friend. Even now, as Alice stepped forward, she appeared uncertain. "I was afraid of them, too," she admitted, her voice soft yet steady. "But maybe we need to listen to them. The world has too much negativity. What if we changed that? Together?" Lily's heart raced. Could this be the moment of change? The glimmers of hope shone as more townsfolk started to murmur in agreement. All it took was the courage of one person to shift the tide. But before she could breathe easy, the town's mayor appeared, his visage darkening the atmosphere with a frown. "This festival is dangerous. We must protect our children." Lily felt a chill run down her spine. The crowd hesitated, eyes darting between her and the mayor. Would they listen to fear or take a leap of faith with her? The weight of the impending festival hung in the air, a delicate balance between hope and despair. Lily grasped her mother's hand tightly, sensing the shift with every heartbeat. Would courage win over fear at Summerfest, or was the town too set in its ways? As the sun dipped below the mountains, casting a warm glow over Willow Creek, the time for decisions loomed closer. Just as she started to wonder if she could really make a difference, a loud crack echoed in the distance. A rumble of anticipation filled the air. Lily's stomach twisted. What had she unleashed? The crack echoed again, louder this time. Lily's heart raced as the ground beneath her seemed to tremble. A murmur cascaded through the crowd, and Lily looked out at the faces of her neighbors, each one painted with a blend of fear and excitement. She could feel the rising tension brewing, a storm of emotions that mirrored the dark clouds above. "Stay calm," she shouted, trying to rally everyone. But her own voice shook with uncertainty as she took a small step forward, determined to face whatever was coming. "It's just noise. It doesn't mean anything bad." Gaius rushed to her side, his large frame providing a sense of security. "We're ready, Lily. Whatever it is, we can meet it together." "Those stories," Lily whispered, "they're what we need to share. They're our armor in this battle." The creatures behind her fidgeted, some pacing, others glancing back toward the cave. They were ready to step out of the darkness, but she was scared too. What if they weren't accepted? Then, a figure broke through the trees on the edge of the clearing, an enormous shadow, looming larger with every step. The townspeople gasped, and the buzz of fear intensified. She could almost feel the collective heartbeat of the crowd, throbbing in sync with her own. "Don't run," Alice shouted, reaching out toward the crowd as if to ground them. "This is their chance." With a surge of courage, Lily raised her hands. "No, don't flee. This is our moment." She took a few steps forward, pulling Gaius with her. The creature hadn't hesitated. His kind eyes watched Lily encourage their townsfolk. Together, they could show the world the truth of what lay inside love, friendship, understanding. The creature drew closer and Lily squinted through the fading light. It was Nico, one of Milo's kind. His scales shimmered as he divulged from behind the trees, revealing magnificent hues of turquoise and gold that seemed to glow against the dim twilight. Lily's breath caught at the sight. His expression radiated fierce determination and hope. Gaius stepped up beside Lily, his powerful body shielding her but also offering a warm presence to the townsfolk. "We're not here to harm you," he roared. "We only seek to share our stories. Don't you see? We are just like you." Tension rippled through the crowd. Her neighbors exchanged glances, half of them mesmerized by Nico's breathtaking beauty, while the other half remained frozen in their fears, unwilling to change. Lily's heart dropped as she recognized the struggle in their eyes. Even Alice, who had stood by her, now hesitated, confusion evident upon her face. Alice whispered, fear creeping back into her tone. I'm not sure if they understand. But Lily refused to falter. We can't let fear win. We have to show them they're safe. She took a step, reaching out towards Nico. Please, trust me. In that moment, it was as if time had frozen. The world, the crowd, and their apprehensions fell away, leaving only the connection between Lily and Nico. He lowered his head, inviting her to come closer. The unspoken bond binding them filled the air with warmth and an undeniable magic. Just as her fingers brushed against his cool, scaled skin, the mayor's voice cut through the moment, ominous and commanding. Enough! This madness ends here. The crowd erupted into chaos again, and Lily's heart raced with panic. What if they lost their chance? Every voice began blending into a roar of confusion and uncertainty. She needed to act, and fast. Listen, she cried, searching for calm amidst the storm. What we need is a story, a shared story that can bring us together. If you let us show you, just give us a chance. As if the heavens responded, a crack of thunder rolled across the sky, illuminating the faces around her. Time hung in balance. Would they listen? Would they believe? Lily held her breath, praying that something magical would bloom amidst their fears. But before anything could unfold, a piercing howl split the air, and a shadow crept through the trees, more menacing than before. What was descending upon them now? Lily instinctively stepped closer to Gaius, her heart pounding wildly as the shadows coiled tighter around the clearing. The howl echoed again, slicing through the tension-filled air, a brutal reminder that whatever emerged next was far from benign. Brace yourselves, someone screamed, but the sound was lost in the wave of panic that enveloped the crowd. Faces contorted with fear turned frantically in all directions, searching for an escape or some sign of hope. Nico raised his head higher, the shimmering scales glinting under the erratic flashes of distant lightning. We cannot retreat, he boomed, his voice resonating with powerful authority. All we seek is understanding. Breathe, Lily shouted, struggling against the chaos. Listen to him. She felt trapped, though trapped between her neighbor's fear and the incredible beings that wanted to connect. The shadow shifted, darting with predatory grace. Lily's gaze fixed on it, trying to identify the source of the growls that were growing closer. There was an urgency that gripped her chest. Time was slipping away. Stand your ground, Gaius commanded, his confidence unwavering. Fear is the true monster here. Yet, the figure that emerged was unlike anything she had ever seen. A creature that seemed to warp the air around it, its fur a churning mass of dark colors, almost like a storm cloud brought to life. It stepped forward, revealing piercing eyes that glowed eerily in the fading light. Emotions surged inside Lily, a tumult of fear, compassion, and an overwhelming need to protect. Wait, she shouted. Let it speak. She had no idea if this monster possessed the capacity for language or understanding, but in that moment, she couldn't shake the belief that they were all part of one greater story. The creature paused, drawing closer but still maintaining distance, anguish and conflict swirling in its expression. It seemed almost hesitant, as if sensing the turmoil within the crowd. Do you see it? Nico asked, his eyes narrowed with fervor. This creature is not here to harm us. It is lost just like we are. Lily latched onto his words, and with a steadying breath, she took a small step forward. Can you show us your story? She pleaded, her voice steady despite the tremors that shook her insides. Just like we have stories to share, you must have one too. The crowd gasped, uncertainty taking root again. A flicker of confusion zipped through the faces, but Lily pressed on. We can learn from each other, we can heal together. At the mention of stories, a different energy ululated from the creature. It tilted its head, its muscles relaxing slightly. The tension in the air began to shift, albeit gently, and Lily couldn't ignore the tentative hope threading through the atmosphere. Then, out of nowhere, another crack of thunder split the sky, and the creature's eyes widened. Rain began to pour, drenching them all in an instant. Drops splattered against skin, igniting a shared feeling embracing the storm. Together, Lily raised her arms and laughed, feeling the cool droplets wash away fear. "Let it rain," she shouted, her voice ringing with newfound strength. "Let it cleanse our doubts." Smiles began to break through the anxious faces of her neighbors, even as they got soaked. They looked at one another, uncertainty replaced by wonder. But just as realization began to seep in, the creature let out another unearthly roar. This time, however, it wasn't a sound of aggression. It was filled with grief and longing, echoing into the night. Lily felt it resonate within herself, and she knew they were on the brink of something monumental. What had this creature endured? As she took another hopeful step forward, a distant howl rose up, cutting through the pouring rain. It sounded familiar, almost like a call. What's next? She thought, heart racing with anticipation. If they reached out now, what could they uncover? The thunder rolled again, drowning all thoughts, and the shadows swayed menacingly in the storm. In the depths of that chaos, an unexpected silence fell, as if they were teetering on the edge of an extraordinary revelation. What truths would emerge when they embraced both fear and hope? Lily took a cautious step closer as the rain poured heavily, soaking her clothes, but somehow feeling liberating. The shadows still threatened in the distance, yet the strange creature before her intrigued her deeply now. The storm brewed all around them, but it seemed to amplify rather than drown out the moment. The creature's sorrowful roar echoed, vibrating in the air like a distant drumbeat, pulling at the heartstrings of everyone in that clearing. A hush fell over the crowd, the panic giving way to an almost reverent curiosity. They had all come seeking understanding, just as Nico had said. "What do you want?" Lily called, her voice cutting through the silence. "Can you show us?" An eerie stillness settled. The creature paused, its massive chest heaving with each breath. Each flicker of its glowing eyes conveyed something profound, emotion swimming within them like deep waters. Something deep within Lily stirred as she gazed back at those haunted eyes. She felt the weight of its story pressing against her, longing to be shared. The air shifted once more, thick with unsaid words. Instead of running away, this creature was waiting, caught in a moment suspended in fear and hope. Lily couldn't help but think, what if we all had the chance to tell our stories? Gaius stepped forward, sensing the energy crackling. This creature is like us. We have shared our fears. Let us now share our stories. The crowd, emboldened by Gaius' words, began to murmur amongst themselves, faces lighting up with budding courage. One by one, small voices joined in, stories spilling out into the rain-soaked air. Each tale shared seemed to tether them all together, unraveling the tension and fostering connections. "I lost my home," to a woman from the back whispered, her voice trembling but steady. "I felt the shadows creeping in, just like you. I felt alone my whole life," a boy added, tears mixing with the rain on his cheeks. His words hung in the air like a delicate thread weaving between them. "Maybe you have too?" The creature's eyes softened, soft rivers of light shooting through the darkness. The anguish in its expression began to lift, some invisible burden slowly dissipating. "You see?" Nico exclaimed, spinning towards the crowd, his own heart racing. "We're not so different after all. If this creature is a mirror, what does it reflect back at us?" As each heart began to open, an extraordinary transformation unfolded. The rain, pouring down, washed away old fears while igniting new embers of hope. The creature stepped a little closer, drawn in by shared grief and courage. Silently, it began to mirror their actions, lowering its head as if inviting their truth. "For every shadow, there is a light," Lily said softly, feeling the bond solidifying like a tapestry woven strong by shared experience. But just then, from the depths of the forest, a shadow loomed larger, slicing through the dense rain. The wind howled a chilling warning, bringing with it an undeniable truth. What if other shadows come for our stories? The crowd collectively gasped. Was this only the beginning? Lily's heart raced again, a mix of anticipation and trepidation. They had formed a bond across barriers, yet faced a potential threat looming in the darkness. What must we do? She thought, the storm still raging wildly around them. The creature let out a low growl that vibrated in her bones louder now, echoing her own feelings. The moment felt pivotal, the air charged with both fear and possibility. Would they stand together, united against the shadows, or would old fears draw them apart? Lily stood frozen for a heartbeat, her mind racing as the shadow loomed larger. The whispers in the crowd turned to murmurs of panic, fear swirling like the storm around them. What if it's here to take our stories? Someone cried out, their voice cracking with unease. The creature recognized the shift. Its glowing eyes widened, translating the fear that thundered in each heart. It took a hesitant step back, as if understanding the danger they all sensed. Lily's breath hitched. No, wait. It's not the creature. It's us. We have the power to stand firm together. The crowd looked uncertain, glancing at the growing darkness and back to the creature that had already begun to mirror their emotions. Gaius, his face set with determination, started to speak again, trying to reclaim their unity. It's the shadows that feed on fear. If we share our light, what can they do? His voice rang out, echoing in the frigid air. Right? Lily shouted, feeling the fire of conviction spark inside her. Let us share what holds us back and shine brighter than any darkness. One by one, the crowd's eyes lit up with a flicker of hope. A man with graying hair, his voice steady despite the rain, shared, I feared losing those I love. Instead, I found strength in connection. The boy who had cried before looked up, wiping his cheeks with the back of his hand. I used to think I was alone, but now I know there are others who feel the same. As each person stepped forward, sharing pieces of their hearts, the fear began to wane. Their stories weaved together like a powerful shield. The creature, sensing the shift, stood taller, its sorrowful features transforming into an expression of understanding. The shadows in the forest didn't fade. Not yet, but they hesitated, growing wary of the light piercing through the stories shared by this courageous group. What if their voices were stronger together than the fears that hunted them? Lily felt an exhilarating rush. We can do this, she shouted. Each story is a step towards our truth. We'll confront the shadows. Suddenly, the deeper growl returned from the creature. Not of fear but of fierce determination. Glowing slightly brighter, it lifted its head, encouraging others to follow suit. The crowd responded, melding their consciousness with the creature. They stood together, a living tapestry of shared pain, growth, and hope, illuminating the clearing with the passions that coursed through them. But as glimmers of light began to shine through the rain-soaked darkness, the shadow from the forest surged forward, a dark shape that seemed to pulse with ominous intent. It twisted and shifted, a twisting mass of fear that threatened to engulf them. Stand strong, Gaius yelled, voice unwavering as he raised his arms, encouraging the crowd to follow his lead. They repeated the stories again, louder, and their voices turned into a powerful chant that resonated through the clearing. But what happened next shook the very ground beneath their feet. Another shadow joined the first, far larger and more malevolent, looming over them, demanding attention. The fear threatened to spill back into the crowd as they faltered, caught between the brightness of their newfound hope and the suffocating presence of overwhelming darkness. Lilia's heart thundered in her chest. Could they truly face the shadows that came for their stories, or would they find refuge only in fractured fear? The battle between light and darkness was about to begin. What price would they pay to keep their voices strong? The air buzzed with tension, a palpable mixture of fear and resolve. Lily could feel the warmth of the stories around her, each one crackling with energy. They had come too far to turn back now, but that second, menacing shadow loomed above them like a thundercloud, threatening to swallow their light whole. Gaius pushed forward, his arms raised high, channeling the energy radiating from the crowd. We are not alone. Our struggles unite us, he boomed, his voice echoing like a beacon. The crowd responded not with words, but with deeper understanding. Each heartbeat synced as they drew strength from one another, memories and hopes intertwining like roots beneath the surface. Lily inhaled sharply, her breath mingling with raindrops. She looked around at the faces, marked with determination and fear, but also courage. Think about those you love. Think about your stories, she urged, her voice slicing through the uncertainty. Those memories make us who we are. They give us strength. The shadows quivered, momentarily losing their grip. The crowd began chanting words of affirmation, tales of joy and sorrow pouring out into the storm. A woman stepped forward, her voice rising above the rest. I lost myself in grief, but then I found a way to heal through friendship. Another, a teenager who had once been silenced by doubt, shouted, I thought I couldn't be brave, but I proved to myself that I could stand up. As more voices joined in, the light around them pulsed brighter. With every story shared, the shadows recoiled. Could they see it? The shadows were terrified of their truths, of the unity woven from shared vulnerability. The creature, no longer just a monster, seemed to bask in their bravery, its body reflecting their glow, a testament to the strength found in connection. But the larger shadow was unfazed, swirling with a dark energy. Its claws elongated, stretching toward the vulnerable group. Time stood still as Lily's heart raced. We can't let it invade our light, she shouted, determination filling her voice despite the palpable dread creeping in. Together we are stronger than our fears. The chant morphed into an anthem of defiance, echoing in the depths of the forest. Our stories matter. We are brave. We are resilient. Their voices rose higher, drowning out the growl of the encroaching darkness. The shadows writhed, almost as if they were alive, sensing the power of collective memory. Lily felt each breath of those around her, the rush of shared stories bolstering her spirit. Push back, she urged them. The darkness paused, hesitating, confused by the unyielding light generated by the community's resilience. Just when it seemed the shadows might falter, a gust of wind whipped through, reverberating with a chilling howl. The ground beneath them trembled as doubt seeped in, making heads bow and voices waver. The shadows were fighting back, freezing bravery in its tracks. Trust your truth, Gaius yelled, urgency laced in his voice. Hold on. We can't let fear fracture our bond. In that crucial moment, something shifted within Lily. The fire ignited in her soul, and as she caught the creature's gaze, she saw a glimmer of understanding. Look, she cried out. It understands us. It's not our enemy. Facing the shadows, she raised her arms, inviting everyone to join her. Together, they shouted, their voices intertwining, igniting a wave of courage that surged ahead. But would it be enough? As the shadows prepared to fight back fiercely, a thought pierced through. What more could they discover when darkness meets the light of their stories? Lily's heart pounded as she stood, arms raised, a living bridge between the light of their stories and the dark mass closing in on them. Each moment felt like an eternity, an infinite battle between hope and despair. The creature's eyes flickered with something akin to sorrow, and she felt a strange connection, as if they shared a common anguish. But did anyone else notice? Breathe, Gaius shouted. Let us breathe together. Feel the energy of those next to you. The crowd, shaken but resolute, closed their eyes, drawing in deep breaths, letting the rhythm sink. They exhaled slowly, like waves rolling out to sea, releasing their doubts into the storm. With each breath, their shared light grew, swelling like a balloon filled with everything that mattered: friendship, love, resilience. Then, a crack split the air. The darkness shrieked. It was a visceral sound, echoing their fears, ricocheting off the trees. Yet, even in the face of that chilling cry, Lily felt unbreakable. Stories poured forth from every corner of the crowd, each one a golden thread stitching the fabric of their unity tighter. Remember the moments you felt most alive. A voice erupted from the back. A little girl, her face streaked with dirt but sparkling with courage, raised her arm. I remember standing up for my friend. Felt like flying. An eruption of laughter and joy followed, chasing the shadows back. Lily's spirits soared. They weren't just stories, each was a defiant roar, reminding them of who they truly were. See, Lily called, it responds to our light. Every story is a shield that can push back. More. The cycle of voices turned into a whirlwind of collective memory. In that moment, old men shared tales of lost love intertwined with the hilarity of foolish mistakes, while young women recounted dreams of tomorrows filled with adventure. Every word was a spark, flinging back the darkness inch by inch. The bigger shadow, however, was relentless. Coiled, twisting and brooding, almost calculating in its approach. As it drew closer, Lily felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What is it trying to tell us? She thought, desperate to understand the creature that stood against their light. Suddenly, the malevolent shadow lashed out, claws raked toward the group. Gasps filled the air. Frantic murmurs gathered in the crowd like storm clouds swirling. With every heartbeat, terror tightened its grip. But Lily steeled herself, determination flooding her veins. We can't falter now. We've come too far. Focus. Gaius boomed. Show them who we are. Show them our strength. Courage surged within her. She felt it ripple through those around her, igniting something fierce. Let us show them our biggest fears. Lily shouted. Our laughter. Our triumphs, everything that lights us up. The collective chant shifted, morphing into a chorus of blatant defiance. The shadows howled once more, a furious wind biting at their skin. But the crowd stood tall, a fortress of truth against raw emotion. With a powerful push, the light expanded, wild and unstoppable. It filled the clearing, a radiant explosion illuminating the darkness. But as the shadows writhed, something unexpected occurred. A flicker. A wisp of emotion slipped through. Was it surprise? Fear? Or was it something more profound? What lay beneath that darkness? She wondered. The answer danced just out of reach. As hope tangled with trepidation, she realized overcoming this fear required more than them just pushing back. Can we embrace it? Lily gasped, drawing everyone's attention. Can we face the darkness and see what it holds? A silence fell, one that thrummed with uncertainty. Their unity faced an uncertain path, and in that unsettling quiet, the darkness seemed to respond to glimmers of light pushing through as if it were pondering the same question. Could understanding bind them, rather than battling alone? They stood at the brink of a new revelation, each heart racing. Would they dare to uncover the secret lurking within the shadows? Lily felt her breath catch in her throat as the silence stretched on. The darkness loomed around them, a living thing filled with tension and uncertainty. She could sense the hesitation in the air, as if the very essence of hope was waiting for a sign to take the leap. With everyone holding their collective breath, Lily made a decision. Open your hearts, she urged, her voice breaking the quiet. Let us share our fears and see what's hidden in that darkness. Maybe it's not just pain. Maybe it's something we can understand. Gaius nodded, his eyes filled with a fierce determination. All right, let us do this together. Not as individuals, but as one, he proclaimed, his voice steady despite the tremor in the air. Encouraged, others began to speak up, feeling the weight of shared vulnerability. An elderly man stepped forward, his voice quaking slightly. I feared losing what I once loved, he admitted, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. Every day feels like I'm losing another piece of myself. The group listened, wrapped in a blanket of empathy. In response, a young woman spoke softly about her struggle with loneliness, how it can feel insurmountable even in a crowd. The stories flowed like a river, intertwining pain and hope, fear and camaraderie. With each confession, the darkness shifted. The shadows seemed to twitch and sway, as if intrigued. They didn't retreat. Not yet, but a ripple of something softened beneath the surface. Lily felt a pull. Something in the night resonated with their words. We're connecting with it, she realized. Suddenly, a guttural growl echoed through the clearing, and the dark mass pitched forward. But the crowd held their ground, hands gripping one another's, their own warmth radiating against the chill. "What does it want from us?" a voice quavered from somewhere in the back. Lily glanced at the creature, trying to read its strange expressions. "What if it wants to be seen?" she offered, her heart racing. "To be understood?" A ripple of uncertainty coursed through the crowd. Could they really do that? Could they really hold space for something so terrifying? Gaius stepped forward once more. "We have shared our light," he began, "but now it's time to see beneath the surface. We won't turn away. We will face it." With a collective deep breath, the group summoned their courage. They took one step forward, guided by a flickering trust in one another. Their voices rose in unison, calling out their fears and vulnerabilities, weaving them together in an intricate tapestry of shared humanity. Lily felt the creature respond, the shadows swirling as if caught in a dance. A gaze lingered on her, flickering with doubt and longing. "Can you hear us?" She reached out, not knowing if the words were enough. But the dark mass hesitated, shifting its form, revealing hints of colors trapped within it, like the first light of dawn breaking through the night. The shadows quaked, and in that moment, hope soared. Was the creature beginning to transform? They had come so far, yet the truth remained out of reach. What could the shadows reveal? What would they find if they dared to see through the darkness? As each heart thundered with anticipation, Lily felt a pulse of connection, a yearning to know more. The air hung heavy with possibility, and as one, they took another step forward. The light swelled, a shimmering beacon against the encroaching shadows. What would they uncover as they ventured deeper into that unknown realm? And could that understanding heal the shadow's pain? Or was it a path filled with danger? Lily grasped tightly to the hands beside her in a surge of courage, ready for whatever came next. The storm raged on, thunder rolling like an angry sea, but in the eye of it all stood Lily and her newfound friends, both monstrous and human. As they breathed together, sharing their fears, something incredible began to happen. The shadows twisted and writhed, and despite the intimidating size of the looming darkness, they flowed and swirled like ribbons caught in an invisible breeze. Lily took another step forward, encouraged by the warmth of her neighbor's hands, steady and unwavering. "Look for the light within the darkness," she shouted, her voice ringing clear above the chaos. With renewed courage, the townspeople began to chant, a harmonious blend of stories weaving together, creating a tapestry of hope. "We are not afraid. We are together." They stood side by side, a wall of strength and vulnerability. When their bravery manifested as a collective light, the shadow hesitated, caught in a moment of uncertainty. Perhaps fear is not the only depth it holds, Lily thought, watching as light began to pour from the crowd like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Gaius stepped forward, towering yet gentle, his heart radiant. "We have faced our own darkness," he declared. "Let us show you that there is beauty in struggling together." The shadows trembled, shaking as if re-evaluating their purpose. Absorbing the sympathy generated by the stories that echoed in the rain-soaked night, a young boy, emboldened by courage, took a brave step forward. "I've been afraid of bullies in school. It made me feel all alone," he admitted, his voice soft yet determined. "They hurt me, but I found my friends. Together we stood up." The monstrous shadows flickered, their growl less menacing, almost reflecting understanding. What lay hidden beyond fear? As the townsfolk shared more pieces of their hearts, past pain began to lift as if the warm light penetrated one heavy veil at a time. A woman spoke of losing a child, her voice trembling, but every word weaved into a tapestry of resilience, pulling the crowd together. "I thought sharing my pain would break me," she said, "but it's brought me friends who help carry the weight." Lily felt a shift in the air, as if the essence of connection softened the jagged edges of the darkness. The shadows began to morph, reluctantly allowing gleams of colors to seep through, revealing emotions hidden deep within. Then, in unison, they began chanting louder. "We are not just fear. We are community. We are stories of love." Each cry felt like a pulse of light breaking through the shadows, hold with undeniable strength. Finally, at the heart of the darkness, A flicker, a burst of vibrant colors erupted forth in a dazzling display. Lily gasped as layers of shadow unraveled, revealing an array of brilliant hues. The creature before them began to transform, shifting from menacing to magnificent. "I am not just a shadow," it whispered, its voice tender and profound. "I am everything you fear, and everything you wish to understand." Lily stepped closer, heart pounding. "And what is that wish?" she asked, staring into the depths of its eyes that now shimmered with both fear and warmth. "Connection," the creature replied, "to break out of this prison of judgment. I am lost, but no longer need to be just a monster." At that moment, the crowd collectively gasped. Their light merged with the creature's, creating an aurora of shared stories that echoed like ripples on a lake. A deep bond was forged, connecting all walks of life in irrevocable acceptance. With the storm still raging above, they stood together, now inseparable. The rain felt cleansing, each drop like a reminder of the stories shared, the fears faced. Together, they formed a new fabric, a tapestry of forgiveness, understanding, and hope that shimmered fantastically across Willow Creek. As the last of the shadows faded, tears of relief mixed with rain on Lily's cheeks. She felt a radiance in her heart stronger than ever before, a realization that each thread of connection intertwined them all, the monsters and humans alike. They had crafted a new narrative, one where love and acceptance triumphed over misunderstanding. Together, she whispered, her heart swelling with pride. And as if the universe agreed, a brilliant light burst forth in the sky, signaling the dawn of a new day, where fears were faced and transformative connections paved the way for healing. Now was their time to celebrate. Summerfest would become a landmark of hope, a symbol of reconciliation and unwavering strength. The townsfolk and creatures alike stepped forward, hand in hand, ready to embrace the future with open hearts and minds. And in that moment, Lily understood that the monsters had never really been the creatures at all. They had been their own fears and doubts, transformed and unified into something beautiful. This was their victory. As they turned to face their neighbors, Lily knew that this story was just the beginning, and she felt the surging excitement knowing they would carry on together. If you felt the same magic and inspiration in this story, you need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive tales that weave hearts together. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and showcase your support for more uplifting stories. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this incredible transformation, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this journey of hope. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support means everything.